Okay, people, hello and welcome to this flight review experience that I'm going to share with you as of what happened when I took mine. In case you don't know, I am a advanced operations pilots. That's what I am. And today we're going to talk about more or less the process that it was for me to take the flight review. And well, first thing you need to do before you take the flight review, it's to pass a small advanced test, which it could be quite difficult if you don't do it right, but in my opinion you can pass it very easily if you go online and you study. There is a lot of information available. Soon I'll post some links and such stuff that can help you out. In my experience, I use Don Joyce. His channel is beautiful. He has a lot of tutorials and models for everything that you need to do, all the points. It's like 15 points or so that you need to learn in order to pass that test. Once you pass that test, then you can book a flight review that is associated with the flight school. And then from there you pass or not pass the flight review, but in my opinion it's very easier than taking the small advanced test, because for the flight review we're going to be talking about different things. Now the test was more like the theory. Now in the flight review you have to actually make the theory work. So if you were not sure of a few things that you didn't learn right in the test, well, you better get them right. So let's just worry about what we have here in the screen for a second. I'm not sure if you can see it, but right here I have the main document, the Flight Reviewer's Guide, that Transport Canada uses as a standard document in which flight reviews can occur. So I suggest that before you book the flight review, you take a look at this document here and you browse it, because here basically it's gonna tell you everything that goes in the test, everything, and how they evaluate it, how if there is a pass, no pass, and such on. So for example, for the flight review there's two main things that you have to do. Now because of COVID, mine was split in half. We had a Zoom video call in which I had to talk about my site survey and my flight plan and explain all the knowledge behind that. And then after I passed that part, we went on the field and actually did the in-person review, which was really short. It was like 20 minutes or something, you know, just a fly here, boom boom boom, that's it. So main things that you need to learn. Number one, flight survey. As you understand, a flight survey constitutes of 4 points, 4 very important points. Number one will be airspace assessment. So you're gonna create a document before you do the flight review, and you're gonna airspace assess the area that you're doing the flight review. For example, what's the distance from your point to the closest aerodromes? What's the contact information? For all these little things you need to know how to read CFS charts, BFR charts, so you can gauge the different airspace controls that there is in the area. For example, you need to know this because in the case there is a vertical flyaway, who are you going to call? If there's a vertical flyaway, you need to have everything already organized and on hand in case of an emergency. So the airspace assessment basically constitutes checking out closer aerodromes, checking out contact information and emergency numbers for them, setting up your emergency procedures, which you know you need this info so in case something bad happens. Yeah, that's basically the airspace assessment. But of course you're gonna put time and do it right, and you're gonna do a nice document as a site survey. Moving on, We have the area and surroundings. Are there any obstacles? You have to go, at least I went on Google Maps, Google Streets, check before, you know, do I see any wires hanging? Do I see any tall obstacles or structures? These are things that you have to keep in mind and you're gonna write down so you can impress your flight reviewer. For example, if you're playing in a baseball field, you're gonna notice there's a lot of high masts that could be potential obstacles for your operation. So you're gonna put everything in writing in this ground survey assessment. And once you take a look at all the potential obstacles that can cause you trouble and you lay that on the document, then you're gonna do a bystander assessment. Are bystanders gonna be closer than 30 meters to you? If so, do you have a backup plan to not get them in there, or what are you gonna do if they come across your path? Is there any source of people surrounding your area? Something that you have to be worried about. So, basically this is it. Very simple. Lastly, I think I said 3 points. Now we're gonna go with the weather. For the weather, of course, you have to check the weather before. Make sure that your drone operation procedures service manual lets you operate within the range of the weather that you want to play. For example, if your Mavic Air says that you can't fly in under minus 0 degree weather, then you can't fly minus under 0. These are the type of things that your flight reviewer is gonna look up, and it's part of your weather assessment. Same with the wind speed. You can't push it with this because you have to follow the manufacturer specifications as to how high the winds can be when you fly, how the weather can be. Of course, you know this already, but you cannot fly with any ice pellets, with any snow coming or rain. You know, who want to fly with rain anyways? Yeah, it's very important. You keep all of this in mind. Another thing that comes here into play is the actual knowledge on how to read meters and newtons. As you can know, it's very important, and you're gonna have to go online and check the newtons for the main airport. People have this question, oh okay, there's like 5 airports in my surrounding. Which newtons do I have to look for? You look for the main one, because this is more for area than just for one. You're gonna browse them, you're gonna learn how to read them, and you're gonna comment in your site survey if there's anything preventing you from operating that specific day. The same will happen with the meters. Meters is the weather report. So basically, that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna check the weather before you get this document, and we cover the 4 points. This will be the flight survey, which is something that you have to do constantly. Now, moving on this side will be the flight plan. As you understand, for every time that you fly the drone, you need to have a mission. And now you're gonna create a document in which you specify the mission of your plan. For example, to pass the flight review and take a picture of the skyline. Simple and easy. But of course, you have to do in this flight plan, what's your proposed altitude height, what's your proposed speed, who is going to be your visual observer. As for example, your flight reviewer is going to be your visual observer in this case, which by the way, you have to instruct them with all your documents and procedures so everybody's on the same page and you pass. So you're going to use your flight reviewer as your visual observer when you are doing the review. And now this flight plan that I'm talking about, you get the document, you create a little chart with a map, and you know, you line up the flight area, boom, 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 set boundaries. You gotta be sure what's the distance in the map What is 30 meters? Very important question. You need to know the 30-meter rule. And well, this is the two main documents, which are right here. Sorry for the mess, but this is my pilot's folders and such. Just bear with me. Let me just show you something. Site survey. This is what I did basically. Map, right? Location, right? Flight area, coordinates, airspace class. You gotta lay down everything, especially the emergency numbers. Ground hazard assessment. This is what we were talking about, you know, obstacles and such. Boom, 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 boom. Note times and meters, weather and environmental factors. Boom. And bystander location assessment. So basically, you put everything in a document. You got your site survey. Now moving on the flight plan, it's just a little bit simple. It's right here. Where is it? Well, I don't think I have it here. But basically, it's oh yeah, I have it. Do I have it here? Yes. Flight plan. Here you go, baby. Get the map. You set up your boundaries for the flight. You check the distances. And then mission objectives, radios, you know, RPA make and model, blah 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 blah. Three main important things that you have to write, which is the procedures, but we're gonna talk about this in a bit. Maximum mission altitude, what is the process and time that requires to terminate a mission. Same if what happens with a lost link. Boom, what to do in an event of emergency. And that's it, that's a flight plan. Nice and easy. Okay, this is just a tiny bit of all the things that you need to actually worry about for this flight review, because this is for when you fly. But you do need to have your emergency procedures and standard operation procedures all nice and laid out in a folder, which we are gonna call the pilot folder. And do you have to write these? Most likely. In my case, I went with Don Joyce and I used the Drone Pilot Canada app, and they basically have this in the app, so very helpful. I didn't have to go crazy writing things. I just had to like basically fix what works for you and Don. But yeah, you have to lay down emergency procedures, aircraft flyaway, aircraft failure, control station failure, important phone numbers to call, you know, Toronto Fear, Winnipeg, London. What to do in the case of a horizontal flyaway, very important. What to do in a vertical flyaway, which by the way, when it happens, you have to give to the control tower that you're calling the speed in knots. Okay, so let's say, oh, I have a flyaway, my drone is going at 5 meters a second, that's 9.7 knots. You have to report in knots and feet. Right? Okay, I have some other stuff here. Key rules for basic operations, key rules for, well, pre-flight checklist, which is important for basic operations, advanced operations, key rules, pre-flight checklist for advanced operations. And now bear in mind, you're gonna go check and check as you start, and this is how you are supposed to fly every time that you put a drone in the air. Have to follow your checklist operations. Takeoff and launch procedures, very important. What do you do in a takeout? What do you do in a landing? It's right here. Roles of the visual observer and responsibilities. Keep in mind the visual observer needs to be briefed, as well as anybody in the operation, of everything that you have on hand, so everybody is on the same page and you cover your ass. So special flight operating certificate, it's right here. NAV Canada authorization. Once you are approved, basically I copy and paste these three things every time I request for an authorization from NAV Canada. It's very easy. Now I have a page here with my crucial Mavic Air operational specifics. You should need this in order to play this. For example, you need to know what's the flight time, because if you have a fly away, you gotta say I have, let's say I have 10 minutes remaining. What's the max wind speed resistance, so you can fly legally and safely. Other important things that need to be in your pilot's folder: the flight logs, which, as you know, Transport Canada expects you to basically log every time you fly. For this, I use the Canada Pilot app, and I do it digitally. It doesn't matter if you do it digitally or on paper, but you have to have it. I have the name here, and I do it in the app. Incidents and accidents. What is this? If I have an incident or an accident, I need to be able to log this here. Maintenance log. Every time you maintain your aircraft, you are supposed to write down what happened and keep a log of it. This is a short pilot folder that I use for that. Another thing is that I have the second one where I have my pilot certificate, right? SAM test, wind direction, and you know what's 360 degrees north. That's where it is, or 0. Bam, 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 bam. I have some BFR charts so you can understand the airspace and major obstacles and flight routes and such. Got them right here. Which for this I used a SkyVector. It's a cheap version, but they're American. So you need to go and spend the $20 for the Canadian version, so you are actually, you know, good about it. But you have all of this and you're gonna impress your flight reviewer, I tell you that. So I got a bunch of information here. Boom. And this one, yaw, throttle, pitch and roll. For me it's hard to understand this concept because I do it instinctively. Right, I got some more information here. Boom, 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 boom. The specs, very important. You need to carry your manual Mavic Air, your drones specifications, manual on you at all times, per mandatory of Transport Canada. Right. Other things that I like to carry when I fly: cars, Part 9 regulations, just in case you got some trouble with some stupid police officer or something. Tell them fuck off. You know, I'm a certified pilot and I do everything legally and right. First aid kits, you need it in case the drone kills somebody. God forbid, there's an accident. You gotta cover your hands with something to act. And you have to write down what to do in case of an emergency, but we already went through that. Of course, you need your reflective vest every time you fly. The hat I don't have, but the vest, you know, gives you more presence. I have my compass right here, and I have my cell phone compass when I fly. Important, because if you have a flyaway, you need to see where the direction of the thing is going and report it. Right, I have my landing home pod, you know, put it on the ground. This is where the drone lands, up and down. Don't go to a flight review without this. And the last one, but I don't have here, I have it outside, is my fire extinguisher. You need a fire extinguisher class A, B, and C. In case a battery explodes or something, you need to have it. So yeah, it's a lot of things that you need to carry every time you fly. Now, this is basically the information that you need to gather for the flight review, basically. Once you go with the flight reviewer and he sees that you actually know how to explain all of this and you have all of this documentation, it's gonna take you into the field test. Now for this will change, but it's basically in the Transport Canada document for Flight Reviewer's Guide. For example, let me just tell you right now, if you want to look at the document, just click the link below, read it to the point, because you're gonna be evaluated on this, basically. Anyways, do you know how to measure distances with your eyes, naked eyes? Because you need to know what 30 meters look like, because that's a distance before you get advanced that you should be flying away from people, for example. So the flight reviewer is gonna for sure ask you to fly the drone. Don't look at the screen and tell me, stop. How far do you think it is in distance? How high do you think it is in distance without seeing the screen? So basically, the way I see it, 30 meters is a 10-story building. That's what it is in my mind. So I imagine 10-story building, horizontal or vertical, and that's a 30-meter distance. Now once you pass, that goes down to 5 meters, which is just easier to handle. But for this and for the purpose of this, you need to measure your visual distances without looking at the drone itself. For sure, don't fly, if you set the flight review for a day and the weather changes abruptly, you can't push it. You have to say, I'm safe, you know, I go by the regulations and everything, and you fly within the regulations, because if not, you're gonna fail. There's no other way around. You know, other things that he's gonna ask you about is what to do in the case of a flyaway, horizontal and vertical. This is a question that's written there. They're gonna ask you this. And that's why you have these emergency operating procedures, so you can go through them when he asks you this. And I already told you what to do, so anyways. And then there's a small flying around, you know, move the drone here and there. Imagine a vertical barrier or something like that. Simple. You're not gonna do any crazy things. Trust me, it's more theory than anything, in my opinion. But if you are well prepared with everything, and you got all these operation procedures, and you are well doing your flight survey and your flight mission, and you come loaded with toys, you are going to most likely pass, in my opinion. I went intensive on the information on YouTube, just reading and watching everything I could. In my experience, the flight reviewer did ask me to go on a BFR chart and actually assess the chart myself and tell, okay, so you know this is the layer cake, okay, that's the layer cake. So who controls this layer cake? And how high does it go? For example, we're talking about the Pearson-Lester airspace cake, which, you know, it's broke in between floors, right? So from surface to 2,500 feet is class C, and then after 2,500 to 1,200 feet is so much. You gotta be able to actually identify these numbers in the chart, in the BFR chart, and explain the dude everything that you are seeing and how safely you are interpreting the charts. And let's say that you pass, and the guy tells you that you did a great job, fantastic, and you pass. Within hours, you're gonna have a nice email saying, congratulations on your flight review, you passed, from Flight Canada, Transport Canada, sorry. And then from there, it takes you a minute. You pay $25 online on Transport Canada, and you become certified. Right, like that. So, is it easy to do? Yes. If you study and you're prepared, yes. If not, you're gonna fail. Some people was saying, people that went to flight reviews without a site survey and a flight plan, like if you're flying before for recreational purposes. Like, no man, you have to do this right and properly. So keep that in mind. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I can help you out. I will try to create some guides or something, just trying to like process all the information. But yeah, this is the last step for you to become advanced operations certified, and trust me, it's gonna take you a little bit to layer down all these documents and just memorize the procedures and such. But after you pay for your flight review and you get passed, the world changes. And after that, keep in mind, you gotta make sure you follow the rules and you ask permission, at least if you're in Toronto, every time you fly, which in my opinion is not really that fun unless it's for business. So that's why I would recommend you just to fly the Mavic Mini. Even though you're advanced operation pass and everything, the Mavic Mini is so easy, you don't have to worry about much. Every time I fly now for recreation, I have to actually go online to Nav Canada and request authorization, right? So it's not like you can just go and fly freely whatever you feel. There has to be some time behind. So if you want to do this for business, for money, and just for fun, go ahead, get certified. But keep in mind, the Mavic Mini is also a good option. And as you know, micro drones are not fully regulated by Transport Canada. There's only one regulation applicable, which is basically do not harm others or interfere with safe operation of humans and traffic and such. Don't do anything stupid, basically. When you compare it with everything that we have to bite for not micro drones, yeah, it's different. But yeah, that's I think that covers most of the flight review, right? I think so, and if not, you let me know again. Okay, people, nice to see you, everybody. And if you have any questions or doubts or such, comment it below. Check out my Instagram to see some nice drone videos and drop some love there. And stay safe, good luck, and check the links. See you, bye.